Hi, I'm Katie from What Katie Did and welcome back. I've got some exciting news today because I have been shopping. I've got my Vamp Extreme corset here, which is getting quite well worn. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I tend to have one corset and wear it basically until it falls apart. I'm not one of these people who has like a wardrobe of 6 corsets. I just tend to have one, and once you get used to your corset, it really feels like a second skin and it fits like a glove. And even though another corset might be exactly the same style and exactly the same fabric, once you've worn your corset in, it really is like an old friend, and nothing else feels like it. So I'm always loath to change to a new corset, but times must, and just because I'm currently on lockdown and I was getting a lot of adverts coming up, I thought I'd go shopping for my new corset on Wish, and I guess you know where this is going. I did a video a few years ago. It's not quite so bad as what Katie did now, but a few years ago, I bought a corset on AliExpress, and AliExpress at that time was actually using images, what Katie did images of Miss Miranda, who was modelling for us at the time in this amazing, well, Miss Miranda looks amazing in everything, but it was in this silver and black corset, and it was just gave her an amazing shape. And AliExpress, the traders there, basically stole the picture and was selling a corset and saying it was the same as basically our corset. And the problem with AliExpress and people like eBay and Wish is you can't shut people down. I mean, if you are a huge company, and by a huge company I mean someone like Louis Vuitton, they can get things shut down. But when it comes to someone like what Katie did, it's just impossible. We'd have to have a full legal team full time to try and shut down all the counterfeiters, and that's just not possible. So it was an extremely frustrating time, and I actually did a video to show. I actually purchased this corset and did a video to show the comparison, and this was in the early days when I wasn't very comfortable doing videos, so I was like just sat there going, and here's the corset, and no, it's still live if you want to see it, but just be warned, it's me in the very early cringy days. And it was frustrating from a designer point of view as well, because some people actually thought that we were, because they were using the picture, because Ali was using the picture, people thought that we were actually getting our corsets from the source on AliExpress and that we were making tons and tons of money. And yeah, that certainly wasn't the case. And luckily since then, I think AliExpress must have done something in the background, because it's not rare for designers' work images to be stolen and everything, but it's not as common as it was a few years ago, certainly. But from a consumer point of view, if you're new to corsets and you're shopping online, it's difficult to tell what is good and what isn't bad, and why some corsets are hundreds of pounds or dollars and why some are tens of pounds or dollars. So anyway, I looked on Wish for my steel-boned corset, steel-boned waist training corset. It was £24, and it was actually on offer for £12, which is about $15. So I've got it here for you. At first glance, it is worth the £12 or $15. So I'll put my Extreme Vamp on to show you how the Extreme Vamp fits on me. And there's a common misperception, if you're not in the world of corsets, that the boning actually affects the shape. And I know I'm trying to think while I'm talking about this, because it's not the boning. Basically, the shape of the corset comes from the cut of the fabric, and the cut of the fabric, the way you cut it gives the shape. The boning is there to keep everything in place. So if this corset didn't have any boning in, you wouldn't be able to hold it like that, and for it to hold up, basically, it would just crumple down like a t-shirt. So So the boning keeps everything in place, and when you lace it, stops it folding in on each other and things like that. And that's where the boning comes in. So when you see someone, a cheap corset on Wish or AliExpress, is going on about being fully steel boned. This fully steel boned really, any corset should be fully steel boned. Having said that, this corset doesn't feel steel boned at all. It feels more like plastic bones. So now I'm going to put this one on for you, and I'm going to show you how it fits, and then followed by this one. So this is my Vamp Extreme, and this is the corset I'm currently wearing every day. I'm now going to take this one off and show you my Wish corset. So that is my Vamp Extreme. Now this one I haven't tried on at all yet, so I have no idea what's going to happen. The sizing it came in was small, medium, large, extra large, and they had no measurements by what small, medium, large, extra large was supposed to be. And in addition, I have no idea whether it's going to be, quite often when you order stuff from Asia, because Asians tend to be smaller than Western people, that the sizing can be a lot smaller. So I have no idea whether I was supposed to be ordering Asian sizing or Western sizing. So I ordered a medium, and it looks like a medium should be okay. Having said that, the laces don't open very much, so I've got no idea whether it's going to fit at all. So let's see. Something screwy, something weird's going on here. That's because they haven't used flat bones either side of the eyelets. So I'll do it in a bow and see how that looks. I've got no mirror here, so I've got no idea what I look like. So that is my Wish corset, and hopefully I can feel the difference. Hopefully you'll be able to see the difference between the Vamp Extreme and this one, but I can tell when I was doing it up, it's not going to last very long. I'm sure it doesn't give me as good a shape as the other one, and I guess I feel a bit like a sausage, which isn't a good look at all. So here I am in my Wish corset, and I've already been told off by my husband because he said I hadn't laced it enough, so he's tried to neaten it up for me. But I can feel it compressing my ribs, so I can feel it compressing my hips. I can't feel it compressing my waist. And the issue is at the back is just really hard to lace up and to do in a bow, because everything's so slippy and slidey. You can't get a neat finish at the back, and in addition the stitches have started to pop, so we can't really do very much further with it anyway. So there we are. For a fancy dress party, if you're going to a Moulin Rouge party, then a one Moulin Rouge party, not multiple Moulin Rouge parties, then yes, you could get away with a corset from Wish. But if you want to waist train and wear a corset on a regular basis, then I would certainly recommend going for a reputable corset company as opposed to buying one on AliExpress or Wish. And I should finally point out that It did come with a free thong, which unfortunately I've misplaced. But basically, if your corset comes with a free thong, then you know you're in trouble before you even start. And I was just going to cut this open to show you, well, to see what's inside, because it felt to me like it was not steel bones. I could well be wrong. No, I'm not wrong at all. So that is, it's sold as steel boned, and that is, plastic boning. So again, it's okay for a one night stand, but it's not a corset at all. So when it comes to corsets, where does the money go? If you're buying from a good corset company, basically some of the money goes to the people who actually make the garments, and this is one of the issues I have with places like Wish and AliExpress, is you really don't know who makes the garments and how much they're paid and what kind of working environment they work under. And at what Katie did, we are very open about who we work with and the factories we work with, so you can see the people who make your garments, which is actually very rare. But there are a lot of cheaper corset companies out there, and all the ones I know about, yes, I can't use the word ethical because I don't know the ins and outs, but if you buy from mainstream fashion brands, which everyone does, then you shouldn't have any qualms about buying from any corset company, because the standards of how they manufacture will be just as good as, say, the Walmart or ASOS or Marks and Spencers or anything like that, because everyone's pretty much above board. But when you're going to AliExpress or Wish, then you've really got no idea what's going on behind the scenes. And also that the other issue is when you're buying from AliExpress or Wish, you've got no idea what you'll actually receive. As I said earlier, we had AliExpress using our images, a company on there using our images and selling our corset, even though it was a completely different item in it. I don't have the corset anymore, but it was like comparing these two here. It was absolutely crazy, and people thought that was our corset, and we were just making loads of money, and we just must have photoshopped the model, and that certainly wasn't the case at all. Another good example, if you're in the burlesque scene, is the designer Catherine Delish. He does those amazing robes, and they're like full-length robes, and they're fully trimmed, opulently trimmed with marabou, and they look absolutely amazing. And they actually steal her images to sell on Wish and AliExpress, and I just saw one a couple of days ago, and they've put a disclaimer saying, the colour might be slightly different than the one we've pictured here. And it's not like the colour, it's like you receive a dish rag with the tiniest bit of feather trim. It's a lot worse than comparing these two, believe me. And people who buy that, they just presume that people like Catherine Delish are making loads and loads of money, and they're going to end up with the same thing. And they might think, the image has been photoshopped and this is what she's selling. And it's the small designers getting in, not into trouble, but it's all our hard work is being put by the wayside, really, and people believe that it's the same thing, and it's not at all. I mean, it's hard enough to purchase from fast fashion brands in the UK and the US, and quite often you see features about how you've bought something from a picture on the website, and what you've received is completely different, and that's dealing with a company in the West where you can send items back. And when it comes to buying direct from China or the Far East on Wish or AliExpress, is you can't send stuff back. So yes, it might seem to be a bargain, and it might seem to be cheap when you first buy it, but you have to think about how many times you actually buy something that turns out to be not what you'd expect, or that it doesn't fit, or it's a completely different item than you thought it was going to be, that it all adds up, and it might not be such a bargain after all in the end. So with our corsets, it's a 3-layer construction. We've got a fashion layer, which is bonded to a layer of cotton, and then we've got a cotton twill lining inside. This is the well-worn one, so the busk is slightly bent, but it's got the busk at the front. It's got a flat bone next to the busk. Then it's got the gauze here, which we use the gauze to add shape over the hips. And then at the back we've got the two-sided eyelets. We've got flat bone either side of the lacing. We've got the lacing. And basically it's a well-constructed, there's the internal waist tape as well. It's a well-constructed item, which is, but you know, it will give months of daily wear. And I wear my corsets hard, and I don't look after them as much as I should do. Like I do my bending in them, and I should put my shoes on, tie my shoelaces in them, which you shouldn't really do, because you know, even though you can bend in a corset and touch your toes, you shouldn't do it, because eventually if you keep bending the busk, it's not going to be good for it at all. But I put my corsets through a lot, and they hold up really well. So with my Wish corset, it's a single layer of fabric. The boning channels here, I was going to say the bone's going to wear through, but I don't think it is going to wear through, because I think it's plastic, and it's just obviously it's very cheap boning channel cover, which isn't going to last very long. I mean, it's okay for a fancy dress party. It's not much good for much else, and for £24 plus shipping, you can't, you can possibly wear it once. I don't know. It's not, to me, that's not a great bargain, because it's just going to end up in the trash. It's going to end up in landfill, really. You might wear it once. You might believe it's going to give you the shape that you think it's going to give you, because it's a corset and all you have to do is pull the strings. But that's certainly not the case. When it comes to wearing corsets, I've been working in the corset industry since 1995, and I've been wearing corsets since then as well. For the last 6-7 years, I've been wearing corsets on a daily basis. So if you do have any questions about corsets or waist training, or how they shape and affect your body, please get in touch. And in the meantime, take care, and I'll catch up with you soon.